Welcome everyone. My name is Laurens Wapenaar. I'm product manager at FinDock, and with me is Klaas Koistra, also product manager at FinDock. And together we will talk to you about and show you what we have in store for you in our new release. Before we start, I'd like to note that this session will be recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/findoc, where you can also find previous recordings of our previous webinars. The production release we are talking about will go to production on Sunday night, March the 23rd. Everything we'll be talking about, unless stated otherwise, is already available in your sandbox environment. If you'd like to track the actual release, you can do so on status.findoc.com. All right, on to the actual content. So today we'd like to discuss 4 things with you. We'd like to give you a brief update on our running betas and things that have gone GA. We will be talking about the new payment processor, Authorize.net, that was integrated. We will give you a preview of what's coming for Swish. We've added recurring payments there, and we have a couple of small wins that we'd like to go over with you. But first, let's start with our pilots and betas. So this is the current overview of everything we're doing. With the March release, we are moving both our Sweden functionality and recurring PayLinks to GA. That means we still have a couple initiatives in beta, which are the setup and bank feed, which we hope to bring GA in later releases. And as you can see, a new pilot was started with Authorize.net. To go in a bit more detail on recurring PayLinks, a brief overview slide of our previous webinar where we went into much more detail and also gave a live demo. So if you want to dive more deeper into this, I highly recommend you watch the previous webinar of the January release on YouTube. But we have a couple change or set up new way to pay for recurring features, as we call them. We already had our motor component, which helps you to do, which is a virtual terminal that helps you to set up and change payment methods for recurring payments inside of Salesforce. And on top of that, we've added a couple of online options, some APIs that help you do this if you want to create a custom integration, and an out-of-the-box implementation of those APIs in recurring PayLinks. With this release, we've brought these features GA, and to do that, we've added a couple enhancements outside of a couple of minor bug fixes that are not on this slide that we did based on customer and partner feedback. These 3 things are the following. We've enabled you to localize and specify your frequency names that are shown on the PayLink page. We have implemented a way for you to handle required initial payments. So when setting up a new payment method requires an initial payment with the payment processor, and a feature that helps you pre-select certain default payment methods on the PayLink page per recurring payment to steer your payers into the direction that you want to nudge them into that direction. To summarize, again, if you want to get the full overview, including a demo of these features, I highly recommend our last webinar. But this is for you if you want to have an easy way to set up new recurring payments, if you want to prevent recurrings from failing because of expiring cards or other payment methods that you think will fail in the future, but also if they have failed or are failing, to recover them and get them rolling again. So for instance, if you have lots of direct debits with mandates and bank accounts that may change or be canceled or stuff like that, definitely check out this new feature. Or you would like to nudge your payers away from costly and unreliable payment methods and give them an easy way to set up a new one. If you already have our PayLinks add-on in our contract, you can simply start right away with this, and it's available in your environment. If you don't, please contact your FinDock AE or contact us through any of our contact channels. On to Authorize.net. Authorize.net is a new payment processor that was integrated. It's primarily used in the US and Canada. It's one of the top PSPs in pure volume, next to other processors that we've integrated like Stripe and Adyen. And we have built the first pilot version in our March release. Now, what will this entail? Obviously, this processor will have the basic FinDock processor characteristic. It's multi-merchant, it's multi-currency, you can do partial refunds. And specifically, we have now integrated one-time and recurring credit card payments. And in future releases, we'll also include ACH direct debit payments and credit card and ACH payments through our virtual terminal. If you are an organization or partner with an organization that uses Authorize.net or would like to use Authorize.net, please contact either me directly at laurens@findoc.com or support@findoc.com to apply for our pilot. We are eager to help you out. On to Swish Recurring, which Klaas will tell you all about and even show you.
Thank you very much, Laurens. Yes, I'm very excited to give you a preview of what's coming very soon to FinDock. We intend to add it still in the March release. It's not yet in your sandboxes, but we'd like to give you a preview of what we've currently built, which is Swish Recurring. Now, Swish is a recurring payment method in Sweden, which has very high adoption across the country with an over 90% adoption by customers in that country. And up until very recently, the only way you could use Swish was with one-time payments, either as a peer-to-peer way to pay or to pay a company directly. And in the last few months, Swish has added the capability of taking automatic payments, as they say, which is compared to other payment methods in Sweden, very easy because you don't have to deal with complex OCR numbers or card numbers. It's just a tap of a button in the app. And it also allows you to stay fully in control with ways to cancel authorizations you have been given, but also get a clear overview from your Swish app on all the recurring payments that you have with any organization. We've seen great demand by our Swedish customers and interest in this. And additionally, we've worked closely with Swish, who we are a technical partner with, to be one of the first technical partners to integrate with Swish Recurring from the start. Swish Recurring currently is available at select banks in Sweden, but the support and the rollout of Swish Recurring will continue over this year to add more and more banks so more and more customers can use it. But instead of just talking about it, I'd like to give you a brief demo of what Swish Recurring consists of in practice. So I'll switch to my demo environment. And as you can see here on my screen, I have both my phone ready to show you as well as a giving page. And let's say I want to give a monthly donation to a charity or set up a monthly subscription for 300 Swedish krona. Previously, that was only possible through Autogiro, but right now I'll show you how that works with Swish. So I'll fill in my contact details. And then as you can see here, I can either use Autogiro or I can use Swish. And in this case, I will choose Swish, which is in preview of what that will look like once it's in your sandboxes. If I donate, I'm presented with the characteristic QR code and button to start a Swish payment. And I will scan the app, scan the QR code in this scenario. And as you can see on your left-hand side of your screen, it will ask me to give consent to my test account, which is a long number, but in practice that will be a company name. I will give permission. Here are the details of that permission, to which company I give it and who I am and at what time. I will fill in my details around my code. And as you can see, now I've completed the donation. Now the Swish app is really cool in a way that you can also see the history of all payments that have been made, right? So in my app on the left, you see all kinds of test payments I've made over the last few days, which when it's an automatic payment, it indicates it. So I can click through and I see more details. In this case, it's a 10 krona payment, but it goes all the way back, which allows you to fully stay in control and see what's happening and what payments you make to either companies for your subscriptions or for one-time payments. And additionally, Swish also allows you to manage and control the consents you've given. So if you go into your profile, you have the automatic payment option. And if I now authorize again to see my automatic authorizations I've given, you see them all over here. Again, I've done multiple of them. And then if I want to remove it, it's as easy as just clicking the remove button. It will ask me for confirmation and it will remove it. This allows you to stay as a consumer very much in control, but for a business, this can be hard. And that's why FinDock listens to all these events happening. So either it being an activation or a consent being deleted, as you see on the right-hand side of my screen. FinDock listens to all of them and handles them out of the box. So you don't have to, and the only thing you have to do is when a mandate is for example deactivated, reach out to the customer and try to maybe even with recurring PayLinks set up a new payment method with that customer so they can continue paying their subscription. And that's it for Swish Recurring for now. As I said, it's currently in a preview, which means we hope to add this to sandboxes really soon. Once that becomes the case, you can see so in our release notes or on stats.findoc.com when this becomes available for everyone. If you're interested in Swish Recurring or would like to know more, definitely reach out to support so we can tell you all about it. And that's it for Swish Recurring. Back to my presentation. And I'd like to tell you a bit more about the small wins that make a big difference that we've done. And we've done a lot this release. I'd like to highlight a few on the separate slide before I go into detail on all the smaller things. One thing that we've added in this release is the support for the latest ISO 20022 files for both SEPA direct debit, SEPA credit transfer, and the parsing of the payment rejection files you know, also known as PAIN files, either PAIN 8, PAIN 1, or PAIN 2. There has been a migration going on for over the last 2 years where banks slowly have moved to the newer version of PAIN files with some minor changes, and FinDock has added the capability to support both old format and new format, which you can easily switch between on your target in your FinDock setup. You can enable it, and then from that moment on, FinDock will process the new files. For the payment rejection files that if you use these, there's no need or no action needed to get started on that. Both versions are supported once you upload a file. We will parse both versions out of the box. For more details on the specific versions we now support, I'd like to point you to our docs where we list out the specific versions we support from the next release on. And most banks will migrate to this new standard by November 2025, which gives you plenty of time to test and proceed with changing it using FinDock. Secondly, which also was shared in the previous release webinar, we've been on a journey to improve and expand our Molly upgrade, where we've moved Molly from V1 to V2. We've added multi-currency in the November 24 release and added multi-merchant. With the January release, we already added faster payment schedules, but with the March 25 release, we are happy to share that we've managed to, by working closely with Molly, to reliably process even faster payment schedules with up to 80,000 payments per hour handled through a payment schedule, which can be turned even higher in coordination with Molly to make sure that we don't hit their rate limits, but FinDock handles them gracefully out of the box with guardrails in place to reliably process these high volume of recurring payments. And finally, as part of the March release, we've done our regular iteration of making sure that all the Salesforce APIs are up to date. We performed several Heroku maintenance, regular maintenance, and the fundraising flows for the fundraising package in the nonprofit cloud are also updated to be compatible with Salesforce's Spring 25 release. And you can get these latest versions on FinDock Labs. Then there is a whole lot of other smaller improvements, which if you want to know the details, you can see them in the release notes. I want to highlight a few of them. One is that we've made an enhancement to our guided matching query rule, that it now also allows you to query record types based on developer name and not on record type ID, which is a nice little enhancement for people who use record types in the query rules of their guided matching. Secondly, one of the things I'd like to highlight is that we've enhanced our reversal matching for Bucks manual to make it more precise, which should increase the reliability of matching your reversals against the right installments. And the same or similar performance improvements like I shared with Molly, we've also applied these to go cardless for large data volumes as well, which should give you a very nice and reliable improvement in both speed, but also in performance and reliability. Finally, we've also made several improvements to PayPal, WorldPay, Vips, and CEDA, but for the details, I'd like you to read them in the release notes. The details of the release notes are already published, and you can find them in our docs. Also the docs of the release are also there. And that's it for today, for this release webinar. If you have any questions, we will stick around to answer them. If you have other things to do or to go to, please feel free to leave. And then wishing you all a great afternoon and a great weekend.